What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode of the Heroes for Hire podcast. I am joined, as always, by my best pal, Mr. Shaun Mead.
Hello.
Shaun, we're doubling up a little bit here because this is both a Patreon episode and we are already going to release it this coming Monday for Movie Mondays.
Are you saying that there isn't any movie news in the last month, Conor, worth talking about?
We ran into a bit of a problem with this month's movie news in the fact that I looked, and unless you want to know the fact that they are doing a Murder, She Wrote movie, other than that, I couldn't find any.
Why? There's a million episodes of that already.
And she's like 10,000 years old.
Yeah, just the ancientest woman ever.
Like they wheel the coffin in and she solves the crimes. I don't know. As a former lover of Murder, She Wrote, why am I saying former? Still a lover of Murder, She Wrote.
That and Touch of Frost got you through your teen years.
I just love old people solving crimes. But I felt like they weren't strong enough in terms of to carry a month's movie news. Now, the strike is over, so next month's movie news will hopefully be back. We will be jam-packed with movie news. But the Patreons, we are doing our one kind of episode a year where we give everyone a little preview of everything that's coming, that goes on over on the Patreon. If you're missing out, we do these every single month where we do a movie review. We go back to an old superhero movie and see if it still holds up.
Yeah, we call it the Lazarus Pit because that's cool and thematic because of, you know, Marvel Comics.
But don't worry if you are thinking, I feel a bit shortchanged. This movie review's coming out. Don't worry. Our 5-year anniversary Patreon live listener hangout is happening in 2 weeks on the 14th. It will be happening then, so all our Patreons will be invited into that. And we are also planning on doing a Q&A episode specifically for the Patreon because we're doubling up on this one just as a thank you to everyone.
That's it. And it is a very big thank you because this live stream is for our 5-year anniversary. 5 years of the show, and we couldn't do it without everyone supporting us on the Patreon.
And look, if this is just your regular, if you're just listening to this for free, could you give us a like and follow whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on? It would really help us out. But sure, that's only if it's your second episode. First episode, I mean, you're fine.
You have nothing to do. Sit back, relax,
pressure.
Enjoy the show.
Chill out,
Crack
lad.
open a cold one. It's fine.
With the boys.
We're the boys in that scenario, by the way. I hope that was clear.
Go find some little boys and crack open a cold one.
Stop. No, Conor,
what?
dial it back.
Go find in a van. You go find some little boys.
Stop. No, it's getting worse. But dig up, stupid.
Give them candy.
Stop. No, you can't do that kind of thing.
We are going to be discussing The Amazing Spider-Man 2 this month. Or this... this month actually works for both now.
This month,
because this was put in the hat, I don't know, fucking years ago.
I think when the hat fucking began, this movie was in it, and we dodged it consistently every month since.
And so we have done The Amazing Spider-Man, but that was like 3 years ago. So now The Amazing Spider-Man 2 has come up. Shaun, when was the last time you watched this movie? And does it still hold up as the greatest comic book movie ever?
I think the last time I watched this movie was in the cinema when I watched this movie. And I remember weirdly liking it at the time because it was still like early days superhero hype where anything superhero was really, 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 really good. But rewatching it, it's just not good, is it? And I can I just preface as well, I am a massive Spider-Man fan. Yeah. Also, a massive Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man fan.
Yeah. And
this
look,
movie just doesn't hit.
Sometimes he's too cool for school, but I also like a cool Spider-Man. It's a weird dynamic to have. This movie is actually incredibly strange because I finished the movie and I was like, there's actually some things I liked about that. And
That's
then the more I wrote them down, the more they felt like cardboard nice things, and then behind them was nothing.
The thing about it is that I think anything good in this movie is attributed to Andrew Garfield / Emma Stone just being themselves and improvising on set. And everything to do with the writing and plotting of this film is a mess.
This movie is completely ruined by studio interference, and Mark Webb as director was basically having to do 10 different things at once, which never works well. See Iron Man 2 if you don't realise what happens. But
tough.
like, it doesn't matter how good you are, if the studio's like, we want this, this, and this, and you're like, well, I don't really vibe with what you're putting out there, but I have to do it anyway because you pay me. So then you always end up with this weird amalgamation of several different things. Now,
the thing is, there is a good movie in there somewhere. It's just buried under layers and layers of bullshit.
I was watching this, right, and I was like, it's like a weird pizza, right, that has like all of the topics. Like you've ordered a pizza, but they've said, what do you want? And you've said everything.
You've ticked every box, yeah.
You've ticked every box. Now, all of those ingredients individually, nice, would be a nice pizza. Maybe one or two of them, good combination. All 17 on the one pizza. It's going to taste fucking weird, and you're going to be like, this is a lot for this one.
It's too much,
thing.
and you can't focus on any one thing that's good on its own.
Like there's about 5 different storylines that make a good movie. Maybe not the fucking weird spider conspiracy one, but other ones make a good film, but none of them gel together. The editing is all over the place. The pacing is all over the place.
The tone is fairly consistent throughout. I would say for the time, CGI is really, really good and actually holds up.
The one thing you cannot take away from this movie. Now look, we're going to cover a lot of positives and negatives over the next little while, just kind of covering some scenes that we liked and some things that stood out. But the one thing I'm going to come in straight away, for any people who don't like this movie, there's nobody that can say this movie doesn't look fucking beautiful when Spider-Man is in that suit.
This is, and I've said this before, this is the best or my favourite live action Spider-Man suit that we've ever had.
It's this or No Way Home last 5 minutes in the snow.
Yeah, the handmade, homemade suit. Yeah. And I honestly, it's a toss-up, but I think this one feels like it's, and I hate saying this, but feels like it's ripped straight out of the comics, Connor. Like he's got the big eyes. It's like skin tight, but not like it wrinkles and folds and stuff. Like
the wrinkles at the back when he's like falling at the very first scene. And
the swinging is
the main problem with this movie is that, you know, all those cool things that we just said, and we're probably going to cover a few more cool things, is that every single one of them was seen in all of the trailers before the movie even came out. Because this movie has this weird thing, right, where the first one wasn't loved, but it wasn't hated. It was kind of just, that was okay. That wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't great.
But it wasn't the sensation that, like, the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film was.
And so what the Sony went away and they were like, right, what we need, first of all, Marvel are killing it with this fucking big universe, so we're going to set up our own universe first and foremost. One of those. And secondly, what we need is like a follow-up movie. And I think they were going for like the Dark Knight kind of style. That they were like, we want the second movie to be the best movie of all time. Yeah. And they were like, we're going to follow this up as a movie that people are going to talk about. With the death of Gwen Stacy, we're going to have so many cool things in this film for all the Spidey fans. Where it falls down is they both wanted to like do their own movie, but then they also wanted to cater to everyone and what everyone wanted simultaneously with the movie. And when you cater to every single person's dumb idea, because let's be honest, for any most complaints, like, we're all kind of idiots. And also what I like might not be what you like, and vice versa. So when you try and do what everyone likes, you end up pleasing nobody. And it's kind of this weird thing where it's like everything but it's nothing in the one movie.
That's the thing. It's like they looked back on successful comic book movies from like the 2000s onwards, wrote every element of them on a whiteboard, and then anytime there was a question or a problem in the script that needed a solution, they would pull from that whiteboard to do it. So they had like iconic comic book moments. And it's like, okay, death of Gwen Stacy, probably one of the most famous Spider-Man stories of all time. Surely that will draw in a crowd, but we would need the Green Goblin. Oh, he's just Peter's friend who's never shown up before or ever been talked about.
And I think the trailers, what I was touching on, and just in terms of like when they went so hard in trying to please everyone, you can see it in the trailers. Now, the big thing with the trailers in this film is that there's 40 minutes of footage that went out before this movie went out. Yeah. And I think it's like a desperate fucking plea of like, this, come see the movie. Look at all these things that are in the movie. Come see this movie. Yeah. This is the biggest movie of all time.
Come see the rest of it.
The rest of it is so good. And they were like putting all of the good bits into every single trailer to be like, you gotta come see this movie. Like, they showed the first scene when he's falling out of the sky. They showed the very last scene. They showed everything in between, basically. They showed scenes that aren't even in the movie. in the trailer. Like, of different plot lines that didn't happen.
The amount of cut content from this movie as well is insane. Like, because spoilers, it might come up later. There's a cut scene where Peter's dad is still alive at the end of this.
Yeah.
Like, he comes to Gwen Stacy's grave and tries to talk to Peter. It's fucking weird.
There are so many, like, there's a whole big fucking FBI conspiracy or following Peter Parker scenes that are going on.
All of that so much.
That's cut, but in the trailers, if you go back and watch it, is still in the trailers.
That's wild to me.
It's absolutely insane, right? So Mark Webb was clearly, like, he was making 5 movies at once, and the studio were trying to get him to make the other 4, and he wasn't allowed to make the one he wanted, I assume. Because Mark Webb, I think, is talented.
I think he is a talented director, yeah. Do you think there was... Mark Webb was like, hey, we have all these the Sony was like, we have all these Spider-Man movies that we want to do. Mark Webb came up with ideas for a bunch of separate movies. And then they were like, no. We want you to do one. And then just put all of it in. It'll be fine. And then we can just
set it all up. We just need it all set up.
And just have all of the iconic villains come out of a basement in Oscorp. That'll be fine.
Do you know the biggest side of that is the fact that, right, so at the end of the movie, now look, this is all spoilers, the movie came out in 2014, but at the end of the movie, Dane the Hans Green Goblin is there, right? He's evil. Yeah. He's all evil now,
the
right?
Linkin Park Green Goblin, yeah.
And he's trying to kill he's trying to kill Spider-Man. And then it's implied that he knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Yeah. Just because Peter Parker once said to him, I think Spider-Man's a good guy. And then, but they're having a conversation about something that didn't actually happen in the movie. It's a deleted scene from a previous scene that they've both had, but they forgot to edit it in. So,
yeah, because he wants Spider-Man's blood, isn't it? And
so he wants Spider-Man's blood to... Okay, when we describe this plot, you're going to think we're insane. So, Dane the Hand is dying. Even though his father
degenerative illness.
Norman Osborn is about 60 years old. And he dies of this mysterious disease. Yeah. And he tells his son, Harry, you have this disease. Now, Harry's only about 21. If your father lived to about 60 with the weird disease, you would think, well, look... I've got a few extra years left.
I've got some time to sort this out, haven't
He immediately goes into I'm going to die tomorrow mode and goes crazy. But at the same time, you have Peter Parker as Spider-Man who finds out that his dad is the one who came up with the spider who bites him and gives him superpowers.
We need to take a step back because the way Peter finds this out is that he, in frustration, throws his father's calculator at a wall and it breaks open, revealing hundreds of subway tokens hidden inside.
There's a mysterious underground train.
He goes to an abandoned New York City subway stop, puts one of these coins in, and a train car... lifts itself out of the ground and it's a fully fitted laboratory.
In like a National Treasure kind of fucking storyline.
Yeah, but how did any of that come about?
No, let me go for a minute now, Sean, because I have to tell you Peter Parker's dad's plan. So, what's his name? What's Peter Parker's dad's name in this?
It's not.
What the fuck is his name?
What the fuck? His mother's Mary. Richard Parker.
So Richard Parker, right, he's working with Norman Osborn and they're trying to find a cure for Norman's disease. Now Norman in this flashback is 25. Remember, he lives for another about 35 years, to be honest.
So, like, honestly, like, it's not great, like, but it's pretty good for a degenerative
It's a good
disease.
innings, like, especially for a man who clearly has some weird disease for many of the years. But look, they're working together to find a cure for Norman's weird disease. And then Richard comes up with this weird spider who's going to cure everyone. But for somehow, he doesn't give it to Norman because he thinks Norman's going to give it to some weird a different like country who's going to use it for like dangerous means. Now it's never said which country, but they want to give it to China or Russia, or it's just vague. It's vaguely there's another country that will do evil stuff.
Pick any war that was going on at the time. He wants to give it to them, essentially.
He wants to give it to the lads in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
And so he wants to give it to them. And Richard's plan is that he somehow changes the spider's weird radioactive DNA so that the only people that if this spider bites, the spider will give them healing is the Parkers and his bloodline in particular. So if anyone else has it or gets bitten by the spider, they just turn into a weird monster.
Yes. But also Richard Parker only has one son at the time. So like he's clearly like, no, it'll only put my son Peter in danger. That will be fine.
Which is even dumber, because when you think of the first movie, what are the odds that Peter randomly ends up in that one room in all of the world that has the one spider that can only bite him and give him superpowers?
This is the thing, because this is my least favourite thing that they do with Spider-Man, and they do it in the comics as well, is where Peter Parker is destined to become Spider-Man.
Makes it so much dumber.
It's so much dumber. The reason Spider-Man works as a character is because he was a random kid who happened to be nice who got bit. That's it. Like, that's the only reason he's a hero. And it also you're meant to empathise with him and be like, oh, that could be me. He could be anyone.
But, like, you do really... Like, the fact that it is random gives him so much greater character when it comes to, with great power comes great responsibility. If he's just a fucking average Joe, gets these powers and then has to be like, now I have to use them for good, it makes that way more like powerful as an idea, rather than just, you were always destined to be the greatest hero New York has ever seen.
There's a moment, I forget the comic run, but it's Peter, and I think he's talking to Miles Morales. And like Miles Morales is like early days of Spider-Manning at this point. And they're on the back foot, everything's against them, and it's Peter and Miles just having a minute talking. And Peter says to Miles, I'm going to give you something I didn't get, which is I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want to fight? You don't have to. Whereas Peter, his whole thing is just like, no, I have these powers, I have to do it, because he feels guilt and burden and all that kind of stuff. But if that's just like, oh, he was always going to become a superhero anyway, he's just picked to be special. And
his dad basically made a weird fucking radioactive spider to bite him and him alone.
And a huge thing as well is that, like, the spider stuff was a random thing that happened.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't crafted to specifically work with one human. It's never worked since. There's never been another successful spider bite from Oscorp.
And that whole storyline is so terrible that it makes the movie, like, it loses so many points if you're going to do like a weird rating.
If you take all of that out, this is like a 6 out of 10 Spider-Man
like
movie.
It's absolutely fine as a movie without any of that fucking dumb shit. It's like, it's watchable, and also it's much shorter because it's 2 hours and 20 minutes, but it feels about 3 hours long. And
it is a slog. Like,
there's a whole scene where Aunt May is in the emergency room and there's like a whole subplot where she's like in charge, and I'm like,
yeah,
cool, but this movie feels so long.
I don't know why they didn't go like the homeless shelter route that they usually go with Aunt May with that one. Like,
seems nicer, but also don't include it. It's fine.
There's no reason for any of that, to be honest.
It doesn't come up later on.
No, and like it just keeps cutting away from like, oh, Gwen Stacy's about to fucking die, and we all see that coming a mile away.
Falling, and it cuts back to Sally Fields like, oh, the electricity's back.
Sally Fields kills it, by the way. Like, just really good as Aunt May.
Oh, look, the movie is carried by the performances of these people in the movie. So Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are obviously, they are like 10 out of 10 in a movie that is about 3 out of 10 around them, and they like raise everything up. This movie with any other two leads I don't think works as well, and unless you have Zendaya and Tom, maybe.
Even
but, like,
still, I don't know if they could do the kind of stuff that that Garfield and Emma Stone are doing.
And like, it's all improv. Once you find out the fact that they basically just said action, and these two people were already in a relationship, and their chemistry was so strong that they just were like, fuck it, let's just have a chat. And it's genuinely the most lovable conversations you've ever seen. And
like, that's why, like, the whole the Gwen Stacy dying thing happens about 10 minutes after they introduce Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin.
Yeah, that's real dumb.
The only reason it has any weight is because the chemistry between Gwen and Peter in this movie is so strong. That's the only reason we would care about her. Like,
without those two doing that performance in the previous movie and in this movie, her dying to just a 10-minute cameo from Green Goblin because he has to be the one that kills her, like, it's so bad that, like, but when she falls and Andrew Garfield lands and picks her up, like, it hits you because of what they've done previously.
Yeah. And I also feel like this is something we do occasionally, which is where we suggest how this could be better. This movie is better if you take Green Goblin out of it, I think, like, categorically. It's improved. I think if you treated, we'll get to it more, but if you treated Electro like a serious character in this, right, he should be the one to kill Gwen Stacy. Deviate from the comics that bit, and then when he does, or like when he gets to that fucking power grid, that's when you get like the green and yellow Electro, because he gets more power. And then he looks like comic Electro, and then he's the one to kill Gwen Stacy, and now he's a threat. And Peter has to deal with Peter. I want Peter to actually kill him. Like, actually, like.
All I kept thinking, by the way, watching the end of this movie is No Way Home. And like Andrew Garfield's performance in that, when he's just like, I stop pulling my punches.
That's the best Spider-Man live action line there's ever been. Good. It's so good. And
like the when he catches Zendaya and he just has that look without saying anything, and he's just like, I caught her. Like, those two scenes alone, in like 10 years later, make the ending of this more powerful. But it's tough to not bring in that baggage, because I'm trying to watch this as just a movie itself.
Yeah. Now, look, would you like it? Sorry, if this movie turns it around, like, becomes hopeful at the end, right?
Yeah.
I wish it didn't.
I don't mind the ending, and I think it's fine. I do think you could have ended on him just picking up the fucking mask.
Yeah, that would have been fine. Like, or just like, I would love to see the bit where, because there's that bit where it's like cycling through the seasons and he's standing at the grave, which is fucking beautiful, by the way.
That's great stuff.
I would love if at like one of them, like, he walks away and he has the mask in his hand, but it's not like a heroic moment. It's like, oh fuck, this dude is damaged.
Yeah, like, I think it's a difficult one, because once you do the Gwen Stacy death, they wanted the happy ending.
Yeah.
And there's no real way to come back from Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy dying in an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie. Like, at that point, the audience are like, oh, 50% of the only people we liked in this movie are dead. And I'm sad.
Yeah. Like, it's... I don't think... like, it's just kind of like, the movie's telling you, hey, cheer up.
Yeah.
Like, be happy.
And it doesn't really work that way. Now, look, I want to also give a shout out to Sally Field, because obviously Sally Field is like just fucking excellent, just as an actress herself. But her and Andrew Garfield, their scenes together in this movie belong in a better movie.
Yeah, and like any scenes of the actors just interacting with each other, fantastic.
Yeah, like the Garfield with Sally Field and Garfield with Emma Stone are just like, anytime those people are on screen, you're like, I'm completely in. Let's do this.
The bit where like she's looking at his fucking serial killer wall that he has set up, and he's just like, I'm your nephew, you're my aunt, like.
And she's like full on in tears, and he's like, I love you, like, you're my person, I love you. And she's like, and Sally Field is fucking acting the shit out of it, even though she might not even remember being in this movie, but she's so good that even on autopilot, that woman is killing it.
The bit as well where he's like covered in dirt, he's just like, oh, I was cleaning the chimney.
Like, and she's like, we don't have a chimney.
It's just like,
I mean, look, she knows he's Spider-Man. We know that she knows that he's Spider-Man, but like, she's also giving him a space to be like, go off and do your thing.
That's one of my favourite tropes as well, is where Aunt May basically knows the entire time.
Like, and like the end, she knows.
Yeah,
at the end, she's basically telling him like, you need to get it back out there. Yeah, and like, there's people in danger.
Paul Giamatti is causing some havoc on the streets.
I'm going to say something controversial.
Go for it.
I like Paul Giamatti in this movie.
I like Paul Giamatti in this movie as well. I think he's great.
I think he's a bit of a laugh.
I think in this world, that's the perfect way to do Rhino.
Like, I think Paul Giamatti, I think a lot of people were shitting on that, but I think it's just fun. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah.
I don't think Dane DeHaan needs to be there, but if you just had Giamatti and Jamie Foxx, and Giamatti starts the movie just as the lame villain that Spider-Man puts away, and then Jamie Foxx comes in as the more threatening villain, I think that works a lot better. It's very Spider-Man comic booky as well, that he starts the comic and then he like solves a minor criminal, and then he's like, oh fuck, Green Goblin's just trying to destroy all of New York.
Yeah,
better solve that
I have
as
to
well.
Get thinking again. Like, one thing that the first movie did that I also love in this is Peter Parker figuring out how to stop Electro. Like, he's doing experiments in his fucking shed on his webs, and like
and he doesn't figure it out. Gwen Stacy finally figured, because they're such a good team. They're best friends and who are like geniuses. And so he's like, I was trying to figure it out. I couldn't quite get it, and she just says one thing, and he's like, that's fucking brilliant. Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, and like another great scene. When Electro, well, not when Electro's born, certainly not, but when is it
That's
Times
a really
Square?
terrible scene.
It's terrible, it's horrendous. But Times Square, where everyone's on the steps and the electricity's coming on the way up, and he's like, and Peter's like, oh no, this is gonna be bad, and he just webs everyone. Oh, it's so good.
Like, no, the scene in Times Square, he lands, and what I really love about that scene is he has the glance back at the stair railing.
Yeah.
Like, you can see he's already looking at the people. Now, it doesn't happen. The action doesn't happen for like maybe another 5 minutes. They have a full conversation. But he has that moment where he's like, okay, this guy's electric. His electricity is like flowing out of him. And then he looks behind him and he realises there's like fucking metal poles sticking into the ground and people are holding onto it on the stairs. And he's like, that's danger. That's really bad. We need to get them out of here. So that he starts having a conversation. I kind of like the story of Jamie Foxx's Max being like just insane. I know a lot of people don't like it. I don't mind it. I think it could have worked.
I'm not mad about how it was executed. I'm not a big fan of that. I think he's comically, his social skills are comically underdeveloped at the start.
Yeah, I think they went too far the other way. I think it would have worked a lot better if it was a lot more subtle. And it was just maybe some guy who, like, I kept thinking of like the Joker or whatever, like just one bad day kind of thing. Like, I just think you need a situation where he's just a guy, that he's not like incredibly to just give Jamie Foxx the weird fucking comb over, and he just is like this absolute, like, he's just a guy that goes, like, he goes about his day and they rob his blueprint plans for the fucking electricity, and like, you have all these scenes. You don't need to make him that much of a joke that early on.
He's just death by 1,000 cuts, like.
Yeah, like, he could look like Jamie Foxx, just Jamie Foxx, but, like, you have the moment where nobody talks to him and then Spider-Man remembers his name and is like, oh, Max, you're so cool. It works a lot better. It's actually a lot more sinister done that way. That you're like, I mean, like, you're there's nothing wrong with you. Like, there's nothing, you're just a random dude that he's just kind of shy and he wants people to talk to him.
Yeah, he's just been like, it's somehow more scary if he's like that, because he's competent, you know. He's not just a lunatic. He's holding down. He has a very good job. He's a very good scientist, but he just has one bad day and then completely turns.
I wouldn't include the bit. I really like the bit when he calls into the radio show. I don't like the bit when he cuts to his apartment. He's like having a fucking full-on conversation like a crazy person.
That's dumb. I like that he has all the Spider-Man stuff around. That's cool. Yeah, like that's all you need for that.
But imagine either he looks like, or like anyone, right? I'm just going to pick a different act, like John Hamm, right? Mad Men's John Hamm. Like, he's slicked out with the suit and he's got the hair, but he has all the posters of Spider-Man up. Like, imagine that scene.
Wouldn't it be terrifying if Patrick Bateman loved Spider-Man?
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Christian Bale and Patrick Bateman. Like, and he just loves Spider-Man.
Yeah. And then he finds out Spider-Man isn't his best friend.
Yeah, like, he didn't turn up to his birthday thing.
Yeah. Like, that's scarier to me than, oh, look at him, he's all goofy and now he's fell into a vat of electric eels.
Oh my God, wouldn't it be great if everyone did talk to him, but he was just like he, you know, like the birthday party thing where he comes up to think, oh, there's lots of people coming, and he's like having this weird conversation with Gwen Stacy in an elevator. It doesn't really need to happen. She seems to meet all the villains in the elevator. I don't know what that's about. It's
an odd one.
But like, he has that scene where it's, God, there's loads of people coming, there's a VIP list and all for the party. What if that actually was true? Like, he looked like Jamie Foxx and he had a VIP party and loads of people turned up, but he's like, nobody likes me.
And then it's like, if he has a fully fulfilling life, but he's just not happy because he's not Spider-Man's best friend.
Yeah, like that'd be so much fucking scarier.
Yeah, and that's more of a like character flaw as a villain. Like, he's never going to be happy. He's never going to be satisfied. It'll never be enough. Yeah, he keeps thinking like, if I get that one thing, I'll be happy. And now his new one thing is, if I become Spider-Man's best friend, I'll be happy. And even then, when he becomes like the villain, he's always looking for more power, more electricity. That's why he goes to the grid. Yeah. So that is his undoing in the end.
Because he wants more fame.
Yeah. Because he wants everyone to notice him. Everyone.
Oh, man.
Oh, what are we doing there? Also, I don't like the blue Electro. I think it's a dumb design. I get what they were going for. It's just worse Dr. Manhattan.
Why not just give him green and yellow electricity?
I don't know. Like, I guess because blue light in the sky was the superhero thing. Like, that's what's in the movies. Also, dubstep powers. How do we feel about that?
I do like it in Times Square when you could hear all the people in the music, like, insulting him.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's in the dubstep, and it builds. And Hans Zimmer does the music, by the way, for this music.
Oh yeah, Hans Zimmer does kill it in this.
So like, it's one of those really cool things where like you can hear all the people insulting him, and then it's like building in his head. The music keeps getting louder and louder. The dubstep itself, I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, I've never been a dubstep fan, I will say. So
well, maybe in a dubstep scenario, but like, I don't really understand what it's doing here. Speaking of weird musical cues, did you like the bit when Peter's trying to solve the whole fucking his dad's mystery thing,
and like that thing?
Yeah, the song came on from Philip Phillips.
Yeah, yeah. That is a weird one. There? I don't know. Are they friends with Philip Phillips? Like, is that a link that they have?
It just does not suit that scene whatsoever. Also, that whole scene is dumb because it has basically take anything to do with Richard Parker in this movie and take it away because it's the worst thing either of us have ever seen in a Spider-Man movie. Yeah. And we're just going to have to review the rest of it. But just know that those scenes are in it and we had to watch them, but they're all real bad. There's even a scene where like Peter Parker gets his web slinger like electrocuted by Electro after that fight. And then he goes home and he's like, oh man, my shooters they're electrocuted, they don't work anymore. And then he immediately is like, well, now trying to solve the mystery of the briefcase, that's the next thing. And I'm like, what? You're just moving plots. There's a different story.
It's and it feels like a story for another movie. Like the whole Richard Parker, what happened to my parents? Let's investigate this conspiracy. All of that can come in The Amazing Spider-Man 3. But let's just focus on the fact that this movie is about to kill Gwen Stacy. That's like the main thing that this movie should be about, I feel.
I hate when they concentrate on either Bruce Wayne's parents or they concentrate on Peter. Just why? They
don't matter. They were dead for a reason.
They don't have to be involved in a weird conspiracy. Just let them die.
Honestly, the reason most like comic book characters and especially like Disney characters have dead parents is that you don't have to wonder, are their parents not worrying about them? That's 90% of the reason. Yeah. It's just that, just get them out of the picture.
Like, I really hate whenever they do that in a Batman comic where they're like, oh, Martha, maybe she was into some fucking weird shit. Or like, like they did that in the Batman a little bit, and that was the only scenes that I was like, this is dumb. And then they did the big whirlwind where they're like, he definitely did so. But then Alfred's like, he definitely didn't. He's a stand-up guy. So we're back to square one. And I was
guess
like,
it'll remain unanswered forever.
And I'm like, that's fine, but like,
what changes?
It doesn't add anything to anybody's story. In fact, it's incredibly boring as a concept to just do that. I would rather know what Peter Parker's doing and Gwen's doing and have that storyline. The Day in the Hand stuff, Green Goblin. The start of this movie is the big flashback with his dad and his mother trying to fly out of the country and leave him there. All incredibly boring. Makes no sense. But they also had a deleted scene of Peter and Harry when they were young at his parents' funeral, and they deleted it from the movie.
Why?
Now, if you're going to do the bit where they meet up later on, and we've never seen Day in the Hand before, and Peter's like, my old best pal Harry, he's after coming in through the door. We used to be besties, didn't we? Surely, just have the scene. Don't include anything to do with the fucking Parkers at the start. Just start at their funeral. If you want to do a flashback, have the two of them be young and be friends and introduce them that way. That way later on, when he comes back, you're like, oh, well, he actually was there during a difficult time in Peter's life. They actually were friends.
Yeah, there's evidence that this man existed before he walked on screen. Like,
their first scene together, they do a lot of work to try and build a bridge that doesn't exist, and those two they are pushing it as actors. Like, that script doesn't deserve the performances that they're given to be like, there he is, my old pal. And you're kind of like, there's a moment where I was like, maybe they do, like maybe they are old friends, but that's just pure performance. That's nothing to do with the story.
They're real in the end, but there's no evidence that they actually know or like each other. He was never mentioned in the first movie.
No,
like not even an offhand, like, since Harry went to Europe or whatever the fuck.
And also then Harry just goes insane about halfway through the movie.
Yeah, he does the classic villain turns insane in the second act for no reason.
Yeah. There's also the big conspiracy where those people are taking photos of Harry and Peter at the beach.
It's again, but like none of that matters. None of that amounts to anything.
It's all just a waste of time.
It's so dumb. Like,
I'm going to talk about. Look, there's a lot of negatives we've thrown on you.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk about the major positive of this movie. Top 5 Spider-Man montages. At the start of this film, when he's stopping, first of all, Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
I love that scene when it goes slow motion and he flies through the bus and he's stopping and he's like saving everyone at the exact same time.
The whole time. But like good Spider-Man quips.
It's incredible Spider-Man content. I love Spider-Man doing stuff that like is like a comic book that's like in live action. That's what it should be like. I was like, this is great.
And I like that it's effortless for him as well.
Yeah.
Like he's not even trying in most of this.
And I am I'm a sucker for Spider-Man's late to his graduation because he's solving crimes. I mean, it's classic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But then I also love the montage of him just loving being Spider-Man, like solving crimes and just going about. And then the bit when he's sick in the shop and he's just like, he has a cold and he's still Spider-Man. That is fucking great stuff. I was like, this movie's really fun. By the way, this is the first 5 minutes, like, and I was like, I'm having a great time.
That feels like maybe the first week of shooting they did a lot of that stuff, and like everyone still had a bit of joy in their life.
First 5, I was like, this movie's a lot better than I remember. I'm having an absolute laugh here.
Better than I gave it credit for, but no, it swiftly goes downhill.
Oh, it goes off the rails fairly quick, yeah. But up until I love Spider-Man with a cold solving crimes. I think it's very nice.
That's like Spider-Man animated level stuff. It was just like, here's a weird situation that he's in for a bit,
and he just has to try and solve it. I think we need to touch on the Sinister Six at some point.
Do we though? Do we?
Shaun, what do you think of the Sinister Six being big villains for the Amazing Spider-Man 3? It's coming up soon.
Look, how is he going to defeat all of those men wearing backpacks? Like,
I like how Harry Osborn's suit is number 7 because he's not in the Sinister Six. That's good.
That's it. Yeah. They just had 6 other ones lying around. They decided 7. That's the perfect amount to stop at. The Rhino suit as well was in the Oscorp and was stolen. Wasn't that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
He steals that, yeah.
And then, who else is in that basement? You have Doc Ock and Falcon, I know that much.
You've Doc Ock, Falcon. Oh, man. It's like a who's who of... And Rhino as well. Rhino's in the basement as well until they break him out.
Yeah. So there's apparently a Craven thing there. A Mysterio suit. They listed as Green Goblin, Rhino, Doc Ock, Craven the Hunter, Vulture, and Mysterio.
But Green Goblin's suit is number 7, so there is a 1 that's missing.
Who could that possibly be?
Who could it be? It's a mystery upon a mystery. It's all terrible. All of these life's problems start and end in Oscorp in all of these movies. Oscorp is the centre of all plots in these films.
Yeah.
And...
makes no earthly sense. Also, in terms of powers and skills for the Sinister Six in this movie, it just says weaponry, strength, individual abilities.
Good. I want to talk about 2 other scenes I like. I like when that Sinister Six, by the way, is just terrible. Just they tried to set up a new movie.
It's
the
lazy.
Iron Man 2'd it.
The Iron Man 2'd it, but also like not even in a worse way somehow.
Yeah,
because
it's worse.
just like, here's the tease. Here's what you were waiting for. Enjoy it, you pricks.
But nobody wanted it. Just give me a good movie now.
Although weirdly I've come back around, and if Sony today announced, hey, we're doing a Sinister Six movie and we're going to dig out the basement of Oscorp and find all of these, I would watch the shit
but
out
that's
of it.
just you being a sicko. I mean, in general, when you're doing this movie, just be nice and just do a good movie that doesn't involve, well, what's coming down the line? Because you don't know, Sony, do you? Because then you have a whole email leak and there's a whole problem in 2015 and then you got some problems.
The Aunt May super spy movie, of course.
Yes,
that was going to come out.
2 things I like. I love when Spider-Man saves that kid with the wind turbine.
Yeah, that's great.
And he's the kid at the end.
And that's some of the best Spider-Man stuff. Like, that's what he is that he inspires people.
And not only does he save them from bullies, he turns around and he's like, there's a wind turbine? That's so cool. Oh my God. And then he like fixes it for him. He's like, you're going to do great. I'm going to walk you home. I'm like, this is Spider-Man content.
This is friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's just looking after people.
A line that really made me laugh was BJ Novak coming from The Office.
Yeah.
He's just a general dickhead in this. And he's talking to Jamie Foxx's just before he turns into Electro, and he's like, oh, we're going to take all your rights to all your new plans, ha 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 ha, isn't that a right laugh? And then he's like, oh, I'm Spider-Man. And Jamie Foxx's and Max just runs up to him and he's like, you're not Spider-Man. Now, it's meant to be crazy, but the next line made me laugh when he goes, he's a Leo, you're a Sagittarius, you're not Spider-Man. I was like, that's such a dumb line, but I like
I'd put money on that being Jamie Foxx just saying that.
That's definitely an improv, but it made me giggle. I was like, that's actually really funny.
Also in the There's a couple of other like threads that will never be resolved, and that black cat is in this movie.
Yeah, she's Harry's assistant.
Yeah, Felicity. And
Yes.
you have Dr. Michael Morbius is mentioned on a computer as well.
In the world's most confusing computer interface.
Makes no sense. It's built into a desk. It's not laid out right.
And you have to put like a weird fucking cube into a certain part of the desk to make the computer turn on.
Yeah. Is that not how we record this show?
Is that what your laptop looks like?
Yeah. I custom built it after I saw this.
Yeah.
I'm still on this is a great website if anyone hasn't looked at it. It's called the Unpublished Villains Wiki. And so Dr. Octopus in these movies was going to be played by either Russell Crowe or Christoph Waltz. And Vulture was going to be Matthew motherfucking McConaughey.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it
was.
There's no way Matthew said yes. What they're doing there is a Sony exec said, we were looking at Matthew McConaughey. That's all that news is.
Zachary Quinto was going to be Mysterio.
I mean, he has the eyebrows for it.
He does. It's mainly eyebrow acting.
It's mainly eyebrows. He's the only man who looks like Spock in the whole world. So they
should cast him. Oh wait.
I do want to ask you, how do you feel about all of the breakups and get back togethers of Gwen and Peter?
It's a lot, isn't it? Because they end the last movie broken up and promised to be broken up forever, and then they smile at each other. And then they're back and then they're broken up because he has to keep a promise and he keeps seeing her dead dad as a ghost or an imagination thing.
Yeah, that's how it works, yeah. That storyline, once again, with any other two leads, who boys is that hanging on by a fucking thread?
True, but the resolution when they're on top of the bridge is nice. And he's like, no, it's always you. It's always going to be you.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever going to happen to you, baby. We're going to be together forever.
And he looks at the camera, 2 thumbs up. Nothing's going to happen to you, baby girl.
Roll credits.
Now, to go fight Electro. I wanted to touch on that day in the hand Spider-Man thing when he finds out that he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That really is quite possibly the stupidest fucking scene in the movie, right? And there's a lot of dumb ones because how he finds out Peter's Spider-Man is because Peter says, oh, Spider-Man's good for the community, right?
Yeah.
And that's how he figures it out. Not the fact that he looks to his left and fucking Gwen Stacy is standing over there and he knows Gwen Stacy's dating Peter Parker and she's the only person within about a fucking 3-mile radius that's turned up to this electricity grid. Why would she be there? Surely there has to be a moment where he looks at her before he says that weird line and then
you're
looks back
cheating
at
on
Spider-Man.
Peter with Spider-Man, aren't you?
Hang on a minute.
Oh, it's the clock tower for you.
Like you don't even have to have him say it. He could just look at her, look back at Spider-Man and just have that moment on his face of, you cheeky motherfucker, you said you were going to talk to Spider-Man.
It's resolved because it needs to be resolved for the movie to continue. They're just like, it's fine, no one will realise that.
It's also brutal how Gwen dies.
I will say, like, that is, for a PG-13, which I think this movie is, it's quite a brutal death. Like, she hits the ground and bounces.
No, I don't know if I think he gets her just before, but her head flings back and smashes against the ground.
I thought she full on all of her hit the ground. He grabbed her at the last second.
I think he gets her about an inch before the ground, but the velocity of like gravity drags her legs and her head down and just snaps it into the ground, and then she dies.
It is grim. How do you feel about the web being a little hand reaching it?
I don't mind that. I think that's kind of nice.
It's symbolic and such.
Look, I don't mind the webs turning into a hand. In like a better movie, I don't think that's shat on nearly as much. I think people are just shitting on a lot of things in this movie because a lot of it doesn't make any sense, but stuff like that is fine.
Even looking back at it in this review, and even after everything I've said, I still look back and I'm like, is it that bad? But it's when it's all together and you're watching it over the course of 140 odd minutes that you realise this is not worth my time.
I'm telling you, it's the pizza. It's loads of really pepperoni, fucking ham, a little bit of chicken. That's fucking great stuff.
And if you're hungry, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, but like, and then when you start talking about it, you're like, Yeah, that's not a good one. No, that's not. That 20-minute stretch is quite bad. Oh, that 10-minute stretch is also quite bad. Yeah,
And
that
it might be
scene makes no
punctuated
sense.
by scenes that are 2 minutes long that are excellent.
Yeah, the 2-minute scenes are really good whenever it has like character moments.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to weird plots, and it has 4 plots running concurrently.
And it feels like you're clocking back in for a shift at the bullshit factory.
Whenever Dane the hand pops up, I'm like, oh, Dane.
I don't care.
I don't
know you were
care
the
if
hot
you're
new
dying.
thing back in 2014, but Jesus, it's poor. Like
just
Chronicle's
have
pretty
Electro.
good.
Sorry?
Chronicle, it's a
Yeah,
Dane
I mean,
DeHaan.
he's good in Chronicle. Fair fucks to him, but like, I mean, it's fine. I
Nothing.
don't want to feel like even the scene in the big chase in Oscorp when Gwen's trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
And she falls over and Peter drags her into the wardrobe closet. That's about a 90-second scene of just the two of them. And the previous 7 minutes, why it stands out, is the previous 7 minutes are so incredibly boring of all of the other dumb storylines that we're following at that exact moment with fucking Green Goblin about to die, and then you also have his dad's conspiracy weird train thing, and all that stuff happens in the previous 10 minutes. And then you have that 1 90-second scene where you have two characters that we like, Gwen Stacy, played by Emma Stone, and Andrew Garfield playing Peter Parker, in a wardrobe, improvising their weird fucking unnatural chemistry that is just outrageous. And you're like, I like this movie again. This is pretty fun.
This has pulled me back in. This has brought the scale right back up.
And then they leave the wardrobe and it goes back to being, oh, this is not great.
And then there's a whole thing of like Harry's being ousted from his company and all this kind of shit. You're not your father. No one's going to remember you. Also, you're deathly sick.
I don't care. I don't care. And the weird scientist experimenting on Jamie Foxx, and he's like, you are down in my basement, and you're like, okay, fine. Why is this here?
What is any of this? Like,
what are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing with it. Electro is somehow a better villain than Green Goblin in this movie, which doesn't make sense, because Green Goblin, we know nothing about him. He just shows up and he becomes Green Goblin because he has to sell toys.
Yeah.
That suit, I fucking hate it so much.
Oh yeah, it's real dumb. It's a real bad suit.
It's really dumb.
And it's only made worse by No Way Home then coming out being like, oh, the 2001 version still looks way cooler.
Yeah, and here's an even cooler version of that.
Yeah.
Like when he just has the goggles and like the scarf wrapped around him. It's outstanding work.
It's just a lot of Dutch tilts, which is weird.
Yeah, it's like Thor level of Dutch tilt.
Could you describe what a Dutch tilt is?
Dutch tilt is when you take the camera and you tilt it, which means like you slant the frame by like 30
the characters are
degrees or so.
uneasy. Something's not right.
It indicates that something is wrong because it's very rare for those kind of lines to appear in nature.
But I have to be honest with you, every second scene in this movie has a bit of a Dutch tilt. It's like Star Trek Into Darkness kind of level of Dutch tilt.
Yeah.
And if every scene has a Dutch tilt, it kind of loses a lot of its luster because everyone's uneasy at all times.
That kind of stuff was done in a lot of early comic book movies to make it feel like a comic book. But
yeah.
I feel by 2014, like we'd gotten past that quite a bit.
Like, it's non-stop. For the first hour, it's non-stop. Everything's being tilted slightly, like, all the time. Even the scene that we loved with Sally Field and Andrew Garfield, when he's like, oh, I'm your nephew, you're my aunt, or whatever. Yeah. And, like, they're having this big, lovely scene. Like, at the start of that scene, the camera starts tilting because he's uneasy about something. I was just like the 19 tilt.
Look, what I'll say is, it's intentional, Connor. It's a choice that they made.
They went for it. That's what they did.
It's just mad that was allowed through the studio, and like the studio had no notes on it. But then they were just like, no, we should make Max funny at the start.
The effects are great, is what I would say. Effects are really, really good. The CGI is really strong, and the suit is fucking beautiful.
There's great photos of Andrew Garfield playing basketball around town in the suit with kids. Like,
sorry?
There's photos of Andrew Garfield behind the scenes playing basketball with like local kids.
And it's just gorgeous. Whoever designed that suit deserves an Oscar.
Yeah, like I genuinely think it's the best one.
It's just absolutely I genuinely think whoever made that suit should have been nominated for an Oscar that year for costume design, but they definitely weren't because it's such a bad movie. But like, it's the suit that's so good that you kind of have to be like, okay, well look, that's good enough to be put in.
Yeah,
with the whole storyline of his dad, the whole storyline of Green Goblin, it just weighs it. It's like having Michael Phelps swimming, but then strapping 2 tons of fucking weights to his ankles. And you're like, they're trying to carry it with Gwen and Peter, but it's not being able to be, like, rise to the surface.
No, it's like they can only do so much with what they've been dealt. Like, they can't save it alone. It needs to be a better script, a better layout, better... I'm not even going to say better directing, because I think it's directed fine.
I think it's directed exactly how Sony wanted it directed, rather than how Mark Webb wanted it directed.
Yeah, I would love to say it doesn't exist, and we shouldn't ask for
the Mark Webb
cut. The web cut, like it would. The web
release
series.
the web cut. Just every time a studio's like, we want to set up 7 more movies, put it in this movie. It never works.
It's never worked. There's never been an example where that's been the case.
And the 2 times it works the least is when you have the 2 most charismatic leads you have in Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and you had Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone in this, and it still doesn't work. Like, it doesn't matter how much people like your leads. If you spend a lot of the movie pitching a movie that isn't going to happen for 5 years, they don't give a shit.
No, and I think, like, if you had even just spent... Like, Dane DeHaan could be in this movie, but have him decide to become Green Goblin at the end. Set up.
That's very Spider-Man 2, by the way.
Look, well... What are we? All the Spider-Man movies try and imitate each other, though. And like,
just have Electro kill Gwen if you want to kill Gwen. I obviously am heartbroken that that character that we like is dead, because I only like 3 people in this. So.
True, but also, wouldn't it be mad? Don't kill Gwen. Take a fucking risk.
Have him save her at the end.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, or have him choose between Gwen and Aunt May or some shit like that.
Okay, that's a bit more sinister now. You're getting a bit more sinister. I would say just have him
Spider-Man
save Gwen.
PS4, that's what I think.
And the end of the movie is them going to England.
Yes, together.
But the problem is, we're out rewriting. They didn't know this was the last movie because they were like, "Oh, we got another 7 lined up.
We've got heaps of films to work this all out."
This movie made $700 million.
That's too much.
It's a lot of money. They only spent $200 on it.
Oh, it's a 200. That's nearly as much as Secret Invasion cost.
That's a lot of money to then stop doing movies.
But yeah, I think it was a combination of this didn't get critically a very good reception, and then the big hack happened.
Yeah, the big hack happened.
And they got fucking mocked online.
Yeah.
So I think that just was the final nail in the coffin.
I think that's the end of this review, Shaun, unless you have anything to add.
No, I think that, there's only so many times I can say I don't believe how they fucked this up, because on paper, everything should work. But I'm glad we talked about it, because now we never have to talk about it again.
And it does make that one scene where he catches Zendaya's MJ that much better.
Yeah, No Way Home somehow makes this a better film.
It's annoying. It's annoying that No Way Home has done that, because Andrew Garfield is so good in that film.
Yeah.
That he's like, I stopped pulling my punches, as I've already mentioned. And that acting, I'm like, I want to see that movie. That's a really good movie.
We'll never get it. We'll never get it.
Oh, never, ever again. But that's fine. Yeah, I think that's about it. Do you want to take us out, Shaun?
Yeah. Is it we should have decided this earlier. Is it like a Patreon outro, or is it like a regular show
Patreon outro for anyone, if this is a movie, if this is your first episode and you haven't been to the Patreon, it's mostly just us saying, alright, talk to you after.
Alright, see you around, lads, thanks for being here.
A bit more formal exit on the old Movie Mondays. I'd say true. Go formal, but Patreons, just stop listening.
Patreon, you don't need this, it's fine.
It's grand. You're grand, right?
And thank you everybody for listening to this episode of Movie Mondays. We'll be back on Wednesday with Weird News Wednesday, Friday with Hero or Zero, and then next month with another edition of Movie Mondays. Big thank you to all of our wonderful patrons. Patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. Link to that in the description. You do get extra movie reviews over there. This month you do get the extra Q&A. That's coming up, so do be sure to send in questions for that as well. And we do have the Hangout coming up, as we said, on the 14th. So heaps going on this month on the Patreon. You also get a shout out on the show. Patrons, thank you very much. So Róisín the Wife Palmer, Joe Burney, Ryan Komatsu, Dozer Enthusiast Evanson, secretly Ed Sheeran, Don't Tell Anyone, David Clarke, Shaun Chuck in the Washing, It'll Be Grand Jamieson, Dominic, Anna Irish Walrus Forever, Hjelmroos, Danny McLaughlin, Lordsmish, Michelle Browne, Michaela Doughty, Frost, Ed Ball, Conor and Lorraine are renting a human-sized hamster wheel to see all the ocean ghosts. Russ, just working out how to gaslight load Evanson and exploit their natural sense of honour and justice. Parfitt. Jackson Brueheim totally understands if Shaun and Conor need to take a break and mourn the death of the El Muerto movie. Lee's had a few too many on St. Paddy's Day and tipsily subscribed to the Patreon. Ciara Lawler, Abs Kebabs, Judge Leahy and Killian Cronin.
There's our one piece of movie news for the month, by the way. El Muerto's no longer
El Muerto, dead in more ways than one, let me tell you. Ironic, because his name, you see, means...
I get it.
You get it. You've heard jokes before. Yeah. But no, thank you to everyone over there. Everyone over there who supports us. Head on over there if you want to do it. There's also the merch store, heroesforhire.ie/shop if you want to support us that way. Twitter's at Heroes for Hire Pod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Detective Dillman's discussion group. Instagram is Heroes for Hire Podcast, and the best way to ever help out the show is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
And I think that's about it, Conor.
I think so. So I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Shaun Meehan.
I shall see you all next week, guys. Next month.
Nice one. Bye.
Bye-bye.